Good morning, happy Friday. So, if you're flying in an airplane, they do a whole thing. If you've never been on a plane, or none of us have been on a plane in a while, they do a whole thing at the beginning of the flight where they talk about, here's where the emergency doors are, here's where this is, here's where that is. And they say that if there's an emergency involving oxygen, masks will fall down. And they tell you if you have a child, you're supposed to put the mask on yourself before you put the mask on your child. And I mean, when you first hear that, you think, well, that's ridiculous. What parent would do that? You would always take care of your child first. But there's a reason that they do that. If there's a problem with oxygen, typically if the parent tries to do the kid first, a lot of times they'll mess it up. They'll try to go too fast and they'll end up passing out. And so both of them will end up being in trouble, as opposed to if the parent takes care of themselves, then they can have the time to take care of the kid and still have plenty of time for everybody to be healthy. There's a lesson in that for us. A lot of us run around and we take care of everybody else, but we never take care of ourselves. And in fact, we ignore our problems and put everybody else's problems first, in particular kids or spouse and kids, and never take care of our own situation. But here's the reality. If we're not taking care of our health, if we're not taking care of our finances, if we're not happy, then running around and doing all that stuff for everybody else, we're not going to do the job that we should do. We can't run around and take care of everybody else until we take care of ourselves first. When you run into a crisis or when something significant happens in your life, one of the things that you realize is that the first thing that you got to do is change yourself. And you got to change your health, or you're going to, whatever it is that you're going to need to change, that needs to happen before you can resolve this problem. So my lesson for today, or my thought for today, my hopefully provoking thought for today is, you got to take care of your own garden before you can weed somebody else's. So whatever we do, we need to start out with working on ourselves, and then we can go fix everybody else. Grant Cardone says that he spends several $100,000s on himself every year, whether it's, going to events or different trainings or whatever. But you've got to, the wealthy people talk about your first 100,000, 200,000, Grant says $1 million should be spent on yourself, taking care of yourself. Your first investment should always be yourself, because you're your best investment. That's health, that's seminars, that's self-improvement, that's therapy, that's whatever it is that you think that you need, and even the things that you don't think that you need in order to improve the quality of your life. Because when you're operating at your top game, then you can go take care of everybody else and fix them. But if you're not operating at your top game, then trying to run around and fix them, you're just not going to do as good a job. And at the end of the day, you're going to end up sacrificing your health or your finances or your whatever in order to take care of everybody else. And you'll both, and what happens in the plane, if the parent tries to help the kid first, they both end up dead. Whereas if the parent takes care of themselves first, then they can save the child and they'll both end up alive. Even if the child is uncomfortable for a period of time, it typically works out. Thought for all of us. We have to take care of ourselves first, then we can take care of everybody else. Have a great Friday, everybody. We're all in this together. Let's take care of each other.